Hi, it's Alpita. Happy Friday the 13th. I was actually born on Friday the 13th, February Friday the 13th. So my birthday was actually on Friday the 13th this year, my big 5-0. So anyway, just a little tidbit about me and Friday the 13th. So Friday the 13th for me is a lucky day. Okay. So, all right. So today is Feng Shui Friday. So this is an ongoing series that I'm really enjoying. And today we actually start a 9-part series on wealth. Why 9 parts? Because there's 9 areas in the Feng Shui Bagua. Okay. So the Feng Shui Bagua is the energy map. Okay. And I do what's called the form school. So that means it does not change. This is not the compass school where like every year, every month, every day, prosperity is in a different area. It is always in the same area. And trust me that even though this series is about wealth, it really is about expansion and abundance in all areas of your life. But money comes first because we need money in order to expand, right? We need money to fund our life, right? Not necessarily to expand. That was just not the right wording. But in Feng Shui, there's a lot of things, okay? And I'm going to try to keep this brief because one, I have a client at 1 o'clock in an hour, and two, because I don't want to overload you, okay? So what I want to start with, first of all, is defining the Bagua. So the Bagua really is, you're going to make a architectural drawing, like a blueprint of your space. And I want you to start with your bedroom. Okay, there's a reason for that because that is the most intimate space. It is the space that affects you the most. In Feng Shui, usually we will do, when we're doing a placement or a cure, and I'll explain what those mean in a second, we do it in 3 places, okay? We do it on the property, okay? So if today we're talking about identity, and I'll get to that why we start with identity in a few minutes. We would do it for the identity of the property, the identity gua area of the property. We would do it on the whole home or apartment, whatever that is. And then we would do the master bedroom, or we might do the office. So if you were a business consultant client, I would probably look at your home office if you have a home office, or your office at work, right? I really like to start with the bedroom because that is the most intimate area, and that is the place that we have the most control over. Okay. If you want to take it to the next level and do your home or your apartment, that's great. If you want to take it to the property level, that's great as well. I find like my home, the property identity and the home identity are totally different. Same thing with the bedroom, okay, because of where the front door is. So that's one thing. 2 is, where is the identity? So identity is sometimes called self. It's actually called self. It's called wisdom and knowledge. It is called mountain area. It is the trigram for mountain. The trigram Gen, which is for mountain. So your identity really is your core. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff, on my news feed and in other areas that they're like, you have to start at the identity level. And I totally agree. And that's why this live is called, Who Do You Think You Are? Your identity is not who the world thinks you are. That is a reflection of what is going on within your psyche, in your subconscious, right? You have to start at the identity level. Who do you think you are? What are the things that you've been told over and over again that you started to believe and they're not necessarily true? Okay? So, that's the method to my madness, why we start with identity. And as far as the rest of the 9, we will go through every single area and how it relates to wealth and prosperity. What the order is going to be to be determined, because like in one school of thought, I'm thinking I want to go in this direction, I want to go in that direction. I am just going to, every Friday, there will be a post saying, okay, I'll be on at 12 or 12:30 depending upon my schedule, and this is the topic we're covering. And I really invite you to come to all 9 if you can, okay? Now, as a certified Feng Shui practitioner, we really only work on 3 areas. I'm going to give you all 9, and because we're doing it over 9 weeks, it's okay to do that. But if you were just doing this, if I was coming to your home or doing a virtual session, we would look at 3 areas. So what are the 3 areas that when they work together, they create prosperity for you? So for some people, if you're a business owner, it would be career, which is also called life purpose. helpful people, which is your clients, referrals, and things like that. And maybe it would be prosperity. Maybe it would be identity. It depends upon the person. If your partner is the breadwinner, we would do some work in the relationship area. All right. If the problem in your prosperity is your health, you're in a toxic job, you're working with clients you don't like, then we would work in the health area. So this is the reason why we're doing all 9 areas, to show you how everything is related. Everything is interconnected. Okay. So again, we're starting with identity. So, or self, the mountain area. So the mountain area is the front left corner. So when we say left, it is when you are looking into your bedroom. When you are at your front door and you are looking into your home or apartment. When you are at the driveway and you are looking into the property. Okay, so it could be 3 different directions. Okay, for me, my bedroom and the property have shared area. Well, I shouldn't say shared area. It's in the same spot. Not literally in the same spot, but it's in the same direction. The Bagua is in the same direction. The home is, it's 180 degrees. So it matters. But I want you to just focus on your bedroom. So for me, it's literally my door. And actually beyond the door is the hot water heater. And I'm always reminded, and this is like where the universe has a sense of humor, is like, there's an expression by, I think it's Mae West, about how like women are like tea bags. You don't know how strong they are until you put them in hot water. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And I'm like, how appropriate. The other thing that's in that area, again, beyond the wall, behind the wall, is my closet, which used to be my ex's part of the closet, which right now it only has empty hangers. That's where I put some laundry to dry. It's also the litter box. Great. Okay. And let me talk about litter boxes for a second, just because it's coming up. There's no really great place to put your litter box. Okay. You got to put it where it makes logical sense. Form. This is the form school. So form following function, right? And you just create a story. So for me, what I could do, and this is what I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready for this live mentally, is I could do a ritual where every night as I'm scooping the litter box, I'm saying that, I'm removing wounds, trauma, beliefs, the literal and figurative shit that is getting in the way of my true identity. Okay? That's how you handle stuff like that. You just spin it. You create a silver lining, you create a story around it. The other thing in my identity or self area is, I was looking at it today and I'm like, does that really reflect who I am? Now, mind you, I feng shuied my room about 2 years ago. Okay. I ran this course called Written in the Stars, which is feng shui and human design. And we use feng shui as a diagnostic tool. And it's a great diagnostics tool because your space reflects who you are, or who you think you are, or what's going on in your areas. And when you make changes, it will be reflected in your life as well. So when you change your environment, your life will change. It just will. If there's clutter right now in your identity area, if you went and you're confused about who you are or who you think you are, who you want to be, I guarantee you go just do a little bit of work there. Go clean up some of that clutter, create a little bit of an organization, dust, sweep, wash the curtains, whatever's going on there, clarity will start to come in. And that's what's called a mundane cure. So decluttering, washing things, sweeping, all those things are mundane cures. The crystals, the feng shui coins, the wind chimes, those are all called transcendental cures, okay? And then some of the stuff that I do is kind of like a mix, okay? So when I was looking at my self area, okay, which I did feng shui 2 years ago, okay, there are 2 things there that I purposely placed there with intention, okay? And one of the things I actually took down because I'm like, is that who I think I am? Apparently I did, and I am seeing it reflected in my business and in my life. So let me talk about the first thing. Actually, let me go get the first thing that actually, give me 1 second. I should have grabbed it. So I had a friend friend give me this, and it was like a topiary. So it had moss in it, and I guess it was for flowers, but I just really love this wire sculpture. Okay. And I had it for years sitting by my front door being like, what? My friend gave this to me. I really like it. I think it has potential, but I didn't like all the moss in it. So I took the moss out. I washed it and I put this in my self area, and I actually have pieces of jewelry that I have. I think every single piece in here is something I've made. Yeah, except for the earring cuffs and the hematite ring and this pair of earrings. But basically this hangs in my self area, and I place the jewelry that I make for myself. So this is an upcycled, this and these earrings were links in a bracelet that was broken. I bought it broken, and then I took it apart and made it like that. This is actually very detailed. If you see, like, there's like the lacing in the back. I mean, this is a really beautiful piece, and it is wire. Okay, I do love it, and I'm glad that I found a way to use it. Okay, so this for me represents how, again, you can spin it whatever way you want. When you place something there, so this is a placement, so this is something that represents something for me. Okay, so I place this there, one, to show that I really value the things that I create. I wear my own jewelry. Every deck of cards I have has one of my tarot bags in it. There's very few that are in like a box or whatever. Usually the ones that like are duplicates, right? So I actually wear the jewelry that I make. I make my own pieces, right? I'm like, ooh, I really like that. Let me make something for myself, right? I know you've seen me wear my trio of bracelets. I have a Botswana agate bracelet. I have a goat bracelet, which is the secret friend for the fire horse. That's in another video. I'm not going to go into that. And then I have, what was the third one? Oh, I have a Feng Shui lucky coin one that has greens and reds in it. Okay. So this represents me, because I'm a very transparent person. I do not share all my personal details, but in my business, I'm very transparent. Okay. I believe in honesty and I believe in transparency. So those are some of the things. I also love, like, I do have this like eclectic vibe. I love Victorian things, but I also like the hippie flowy things. I'm just a very like eclectic person. I'm an Aquarius. That's just who we are. Okay. So this is in my self area, right? And there's a story behind it. So it's not so much about the object, but the object should the placement should reflect something about yourself. Okay. So maybe as I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, this is armature, for lack of a better word, if you're into sculpture, and there isn't a lot of substance. So maybe she needs some clothes. I do feel like in my life, many times I'm creating the bare minimum. See how it's showing up, how it's showing a reflection of who I think I am. Now, mind you, it's like I have the bare minimum, but I also have this gorgeous jewelry. And I do see that. Like, there are areas in my life that I want greater abundance in. And I'm creating jewelry, which I'm selling and I'm wearing and I'm using. But it's like, okay, but I want abundance in other areas. So maybe there's something that I can do to this. Or change the story, right? I could say that my jewelry business is the foundation of my business. It's really not, but that's a story that I can tell. And that comes with the 3 secret reinforcements ritual that you do every time you do a placement or a cure. So a cure is when you're fixing something, like there's a sharp corner there, there's water in the fire element, whatever, that's a cure. And sometimes there's a line that's blurred between a cure and a placement, okay? So the other thing that was there was this, and I love this. Oh, don't you dare come apart. This is a puzzle that I got from a friend of mine many, many years ago. She was cleaning out her basement, which was full of things from her brick and mortar store. And I brought home tons of stuff, and some of it I gave away and some of it I kept. And one of the things that I really loved was this round puzzle. I love that it's round. I love the subject matter. And I also love that it glows in the dark. Okay? Like, okay? So, are we, woo, no, this way. Right? I love that. Kind of reminds me of my daughter. It used to be in my daughter's room. And I really love this piece. But as I was sitting here and I was just like, I wonder what this is reflecting about me. What is the perception that I have about myself that made me put this there? Now, mind you, I put this there because I talk about being a goddess. And I don't talk about being a goddess as like, oh my God, look at me, I'm better than everyone else. I feel like every person is a god or goddess. That we have this divine spark within us. And part of my job as a coach, as a consultant, as a tarot reader, as a jewelry maker is to remind you of that divine spark within you, especially for women, because I'm a woman and that's who I work with. And it doesn't mean, I had a reading with a man yesterday, it doesn't mean that I can't work with other genders. I just tend to gravitate towards the concept of being a goddess. So this isn't about being better than anybody else or being a specific goddess. It's about viewing yourself as a goddess, raising your standards, treating yourself well. Again, self or identity is about the way that you perceive yourself, how you treat yourself. This isn't about the world. This is fame and reputation. We'll get to that. So as I'm looking at this today, I'm like, well, what's showing up in my world is that people are seeing me as a tarot reader. I'm getting referrals. I'm getting clients who are really seeing my brilliance. I'm having, like this week, I sold 5 tarot bags on eBay, which is a huge amount. Normally, I don't sell that many. And I love that people are seeing me. Okay. But I also feel like there's a missing component. Okay. And is that they're seeing these specific pieces of me, but they're not seeing all of me. And really, I identify as an intuitive strategist, okay? Because I don't help you just identify the patterns that are playing out in your life. I help you actually shift them, okay? I help you actually take action and create a strategic plan that's tailored to you so that you can create the identity that is most authentic for you. The thriving, wealthy identity, not the 5 a.m. billionaire, cold plunge, I do these strict things. No. What does wealth mean to you? Who are you as a wealthy person, right? And so I'm feeling like people are not seeing all of me. And is it a wonder when I look at my self area and I've got a hot water heater behind the scenes, I've got a litter box behind the scenes, I've got this picture here, which is very much a picture of this innocence and this glow. Like, she is the spark, right? Like, hold on, right here. So Elpida actually means hope. So this reminds me of that. Like, I bring hope into people's lives. I inspire people. But I don't want to just do that. I want actually people to work with me for a period of time so that we can actually shift those negative patterns in their life, their limiting beliefs, their habits, their perception of themselves, so that they can actually create the life that they truly desire. So I actually took this down, and obviously I took the other thing down to show you. And I'm like, well, one, I love this in my room. Where am I going to put it? So, and I know we're veering into other directions. So what I'm saying is, like, one, as a Feng Shui consultant, if you hire me as a Feng Shui consultant, one, I only do virtual, and I'm amazing at virtual. You don't need me to come to your home. Trust me, you don't want me to come to your home. Two, 9 times out of 10, you have exactly what you need. It does not cost thousands of dollars to redo an area, okay, and to align your space, your environment with who you are and the life that you want, which is what Feng Shui is about. It's not about pretty, shiny. It's about creating harmony in your environment so it is reflected in your life and in your being, okay? And 3, if you love something, one, we either change the story about it, or we move it to a different area. So this is actually going to go into my creativity area, which is the middle of the right wall. Okay, it's actually called Children and Creativity. So I'm going to move that there because I actually, which is basically over my bed, which is right over here. And I'm going to tell a different story about it. Okay. So I want that creative, divine goddess energy to inspire the changes in my life, to inspire the people. And I'm going to put something else there that is more indicative of people actually seeing all of me. Okay? And accepting all of me. And like, whether it's a partner, whether it's friends or family, or whether it's a client, that's what they want. They want all of it. Right? And then I'm also going to make some changes to this because I do love this, and it is a great place right there. It's right next to my closet, and as I'm leaving the room, if I'm going out, I can grab a pair of earrings, I can grab a necklace. I usually have my bracelets are around her. Usually, now I keep them on my nightstand because I take my jewelry off at night. Um, I take it off before I go in the shower, and then I don't put them back on. But like it's a great spot right by the door to stop and put on some jewelry. So maybe I put more jewelry on her. Or maybe I give her some clothes. Or maybe I give her a head. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. But this is what I'm talking about. One, you don't need to redo your entire house and throw out everything you have and everything is bad or wrong. It's just looking at it from a different perspective and saying, if this area represents how I see myself, what is the story it's telling? Okay? Who do you think you are? Okay? And go with what comes up. Like I said, when I look at this, I'm like, well, I'm seeing wire and armature. I'm seeing bare minimum. Even the jewelry, this is not all the jewelry I have. I don't have tons of jewelry, but it's not all the jewelry I have. And like, I feel like she needs more, right? And so this piece is going to stay there. And actually where the goddess puzzle was, I want something different there. And it's so funny because I've been thinking about that for a while. And now it's like, so this is what I'm talking about. How people see me as a tarot reader or a jewelry maker or a tarot bag maker or whatever. And they're not seeing the bigger picture. Now, mind you, I love the sales that I get and the clients that I get in those areas. But I really want to move into this place where I'm actually not just sparking inspiration, but actually helping you go from the idea of this is who I really am, right? To these are the patterns that I have created, adopted, adapted, and that are serving me and are not serving me. And here are the actions that I'm going to take in order to, one, strengthen the patterns that serve me and to let's dissolve or shift the patterns that are not serving me. Okay. So I need to kind of think about what do I want to put there, right? So one thing I could put, like showing you my room here, which is very intimate for me. So what I could put is if you see, all right, oh my gosh, right there, that is actually a print of a dragon. It is actually like Chinese zodiac, like on the back of it, it shows all the Chinese zodiacs, which I didn't really actually know until I took it down from another place. That's actually my fame and reputation, and I've always wondered about like coloring that in, but like I sometimes don't want to change the integrity of the original item. Like I feel like coloring it in feels sacrilegious, so I've always wondered about maybe putting a piece of like plastic, like clear plastic over it and coloring that in. So that's something that I could put in my identity area, in my self area, and identify with this dragon energy because I am a Chinese double dragon in Chinese astrology. In the 4 pillars astrology, there's actually 3, maybe even 4 different types of Chinese astrology. So that's something I can put there. Or what I could do is do the coloring that I want to do. Actually, ooh, I have tons of drills from diamond painting that probably would look divine on that. And again, I would probably put a piece of plastic over the original because I don't want to ruin what the original artist did. I want to add to it. Okay, so kind of thinking about like, I want to take who I am and I want the world to see me. So I could leave it there and make changes, or I can move it to the self area. Probably going to make changes and leave it there because I really like it there. Okay. The other thing that I can put there is this, which is actually in my career area. So this is another diamond painting. I love diamond paintings and I buy diamond paintings for feng shui reasons. I have a couple of dragon diamond paintings that maybe I could put one of those in my self area. So this is where you start to kind of like, these are the kind of conversations that we have in a feng shui consultation. So this is the symbol for Aquarius, or the image of Aquarius, right? We are the cosmic, we are the channel. So if you meet an Aquarius and they're like all into the metaphysical, that is not an accident. We are we're called the water bearers. It's really the waters of consciousness. And we are the bridge between the universal unconscious, the divine, and the human realm. That is our job in the zodiac, right? And I love this diamond painting. And I actually, this is just a canvas, like a white canvas, and I put black stretch velvet, just stapled it on, stretched it, stapled it on, and then glued this on. So that's a great idea if you are a diamond painter and you don't know what to do with your stuff. So I just cut it. I put whatever this acrylic gloss medium on it, and then I glued it onto the stretch velvet. So I actually have a couple of diamond paintings that are dragons that I was going to put in the fame and reputation of the living room, which is kind of hard because just like my bedroom, and you'll notice patterns in your feng shui as well, there's a window there. And windows are funny because windows are actually, the glass is the water element, and that's a fire area. So that's a whole other story. So the whole point of this introduction into feng shui is for you to start to look at what's there and what is it saying to me? Like, what are the things that I see that I think about when I see these things? Is it like a laundry hamper? I had a client who had a laundry hamper there, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just like, is it plastic? And she's like, yeah, it's ugly. It's plastic. There's socks all over the place. And I'm like, okay, I would get something prettier. Okay. And I would, have a lid or just prettier. Like, you don't have to, like, your room doesn't have to be like the cover of a home and garden magazine, but be intentional with stuff. If there's clutter in that area, obviously you're going to struggle with your identity. You're going to have this muddled view of who you think you are. Now, very characteristic to who I am and the way that I coach and counsel my clients, but very uncharacteristic to the way that feng shui actually operates, I would actually go into, like, what does your self-talk look like? Because really, that's where it starts. Your beliefs. Your beliefs are reflected in the thoughts that you have about yourself, the things that you say about yourself. So if you're constantly calling yourself an idiot, if you constantly are like, oh, there you go, making another mistake, that's negative self-talk. And those are things that are giving you clues to the patterns that lie beneath. So when I do feng shui, when I do anything, I don't just look at one layer. I don't just look at your environment, what is going on in your home. Like I said, I do use feng shui as a diagnostic tool, and it is a great diagnostic tool. Let me tell you, you send me a picture of your floor plan, and I can tell a lot about you. Send me a handful of pictures, I can tell you a whole entire story of what is going on in your life, and you'll be like, how do you know? It's just, that's part of my gift, okay? These tools like feng shui to me, feng shui is a language. It's a language of the environment. What is your environment saying about you? And it's not saying about you, what do you think about you? Even in, like, look at, this is my fame and reputation, right? So partially fame and reputation. So we've got this curtain, which is purple, favorite color, butterflies. I love butterflies. It's one of my things, right? Like ladybugs and stuff like that. So the upgrade in this curtain, and I talked about this in previous feng shui episodes, this curtain feels really luxurious to me. It wasn't like super freaking expensive. It was like $40, but $40 for a curtain is a chunk of money, but it's not silk or satin. It's like, it feels like satin. It is room darkening when I close it, and I just love it. I love the color. I love the pale color of it. I love the butterflies. It's 2 panels. It goes all the way to the floor, which I really don't like. I really wish it was shorter. I wish the top was different. Like, normally curtains like have this like piece on top, like where the rod goes is usually like halfway down. I feel like there's some room for improvement in this curtain. So think about, this is my fame and reputation. So the fact that it's too long, I feel like sometimes I'm too much. Like, I talk too much, right? I go too long. See how it's like I'm showing myself. I'm telling on myself. I feel like sometimes, like, whatever this represents, that there's room for improvement, edits, right? And that's something I can simply easily do on both parts. Shorten the bottom, lift up the top, right? I talked about the dragon, how like I feel like I am this powerhouse, but people don't really see me all of me, right? And you know, that dragon does need some color in it. It does need some sparkles and some glitter so that people can see me. And it's not about polishing up my image, it's about showing all of myself. Okay? Sometimes I feel like a wallflower, right? And again, that's what she reminds me of too, right? She kind of reminds me a little bit of a wallflower. Like, yeah, she's beautiful and she's inspirational and she glows in the dark. I love that. I don't know what it is about glow in the dark stuff, but you can see right here the spots that glow in the dark. But, and honestly, it's not all of her that glows in the dark. There's some of the background and some, like, you can see the flowers and stuff like that. You can see, like, the outline of her face. But it's like, there's definitely this perception, if you look at my feng shui, just those two areas, how I don't feel like people see all of me. I feel like people see parts of me. And maybe that was by design. That was my way of keeping myself safe, right? But now that I do feel more safe in who I am and in my environment, I want to be seen. Right? And I do talk about like, my feng shui isn't perfect. And also, like, there is this concept of, like, we it's not that we can't do these modalities for ourselves. It's that, like, we can't see our blind spots. And sometimes that's what these lives and these, like, when I, you know, create something, that's what I'm doing, is I'm training myself to see my own blind spots, because I haven't found someone who can do that for me necessarily. So let's go back to the self area. I want to give you some do's and don'ts, okay? One, do not just go into an Asian store or a feng shui website and start buying feng shui stuff. Please, I've walked into people's home and I know, I'm like, oh, you had a feng shui consultant. And they're like, how do you know? And I'm like, because you can see them. Feng shui is about creating harmony in your environment. Harmony is not taking a Victorian room or a whimsical room like this and adding a bunch of red ribbons and Chinese coins and wind chimes and mirrors and crystals. It's about integrating things that make sense to you. This makes sense, right? This is something somebody gave me. I love the Ren Fair. I love corsets. I love architecture, and these are pieces of jewelry that I've made. Almost, well, not everything, but like almost every single piece that's on here is something that I've made. Okay? So this makes sense, and it makes sense where it is. It's right next to my closet, right behind the door. So as I'm leaving my room, if I'm going out for the day, I can grab a pair of earrings, I can grab a necklace, I can grab a bracelet or a ring or whatever, and then head out the door. Now, mind you, nothing on there is like thousands of dollars. I don't really have a lot of that kind of stuff. That stuff is somewhere secure, but this is the stuff that I wear, right? So it needs to make sense. And that's why I love the Form School, or sometimes it's called the Tibetan Black Hat Sect, created by the late Professor Lin Young. Because it is about making sense. It's not about changing directions all the time and shifting things all the time. It's about what makes sense for your life. Okay? I'm not going to come into your home, whether, you know, virtually, and be like, everything sucks. That's not true. So tip number 1 is, don't just throw up feng shui paraphernalia, and it really is sometimes paraphernalia. Some of it is valid, some of it's necessary, but just don't throw up feng shui paraphernalia all over your home. Okay? It's not aesthetically pleasing. And if people can see your feng shui cures and placements, well, that's not really working. Okay? 2, don't put things there just to put things there. Really think about what you're doing, how this reflects that area, especially in the self area. Okay? What is the story it's telling? What does it remind you of? Can you change the narrative? Like this piece, right? To me, it's saying, okay, Elpida, like, you got the bare minimum, and then you're throwing some crystals on it, but there's a gap. It's like, okay, I see that. So what can I change about this that would make me feel like there's wealth here? There's opulence, right? There's, like, I have to stop and think about that, right? Don't be afraid to take things down. If you see something and you're like, I don't like that, it makes me uncomfortable, it makes, like, I see it now, because this is thing when you start to look at your life through a certain lens, and for me, part of it is the Feng Shui lens. You can't not see it. So now that I see this puzzle as like, she's got her eyes closed. She's kind of meek. She doesn't even look like me. I had blonde, like golden blonde hair like this when I was a child, but like obviously my hair has gotten darker. Like I love the vibe of this, and like I said, I'm gonna move it to my children and creativity, and change the narrative. But she doesn't fit my identity anymore. So I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to put it someplace where it actually makes sense. The other thing is, like, sometimes people do vision boards. I do not like vision boards to be public, like people to see them. So if you want to put a vision board there, that's great. You know what, where a great place to put a vision board would be? On the back. Okay? And we do that a lot in Feng Shui. We'll create an intention and like put it on the back of a painting, or tuck it on the inside of the closet, right? So you can do something like that, okay? What else? Don't just start getting rid of stuff. Like, be intentional about it. I took that one piece, well, I took both of them down because I wanted to show you, but I took that one piece down. She's going to go in children and creativity. I'm going to do the 3 secret reinforcements when we're done with this, when I'm done with this live. And then I'm going to take some time to think about what I want to do over there. What is the identity that is emerging? This isn't about, again, being someone you're not. This is about who was I before the world started to tell me that I'm good at this and I'm bad at that, and you're tone deaf, and you talk too much and whatever. Who were you? Okay? And what does that identity look like now? Okay? So it's not about being someone else. It's not about, being the 5 a.m. cold plunge, burpee, whatever, billionaire. It is about what is this part of you that wants to be seen and heard now. Okay? And it doesn't have to be the final identity, right? It can be like, who do you feel like you're, I don't like the word stepping in, but that's what's stepping into. Like, what is the identity that is emerging now? What is the next level? Like, think of it as a video game. If you were to level up, what would that look like? So this is a great place where you could get a diamond painting of a beautiful woman or a goddess and put it there. You could take a picture of yourself and like use AI to modify it. And actually there are places where you can go and have that turned into a diamond painting if you like diamond painting. I do. You can use a mythical creature like a dragon. You can use your Chinese zodiac and say, I am stepping into the energy of this identity, right? You can, get something out of a magazine. Another place that you could get some really great images are like used books, like at the Goodwill and stuff like that. You can find books on art and things like that. Calendars have great images, right? You can create one online. You can do a Pinterest board, right? Or find an ad that looks really cool and put it there. If you're into the whole goddess vibe, you can find a goddess. Like, I actually have a couple coloring books that are goddess related. So I could go in there and look at one of these images and be like, ooh, I really like her vibe, and then color her in to reflect who I'm stepping into, who the part of me that is emerging next. Okay. And it could be on all sorts of things that you can put there. But here is another don't put a ton of crap in there. Don't be like, oh, and this is me, okay? This is the don't version of me. Like, oh, I could put butterflies there, and I could put ladybugs there, because ladybugs are about hope, and Alpida means hope, and butterflies are about transformation, and I could put some stars there because I'm the star card in the tarot. Aquarius is the star, right? I can put, like, you don't want it to look like somebody threw up there, like every like a fucking sticker book, like the Lisa Frank sticker book. If you know, okay? You want to be intentional. 1 or 2 items, It could be a figurine. If you have a dresser there or a nightstand there, you can get a figurine that represents who you are, the part of you that's emerging. Less is more. So for me, I do feel like I want one of my diamond paintings up there. I gotta see what I have. I do have a dragon that I could put up there, right? Like I really do want to step into that energy. I'm definitely going to put this back up there, but I'm going to, well, for now, I'm just going to hang it out because I don't want to lose anything. But definitely, like, it's so funny because when you start to see things from a feng shui perspective, this is like, okay, like my bare needs are met, my minimum needs are met, and then I've got some great jewelry, and I've got witch hats, and I've got tarot bags, and I've got accessories, but I got no fucking clothes on. This is what I'm talking about. Like the things that you start to see when you start to look at your space through feng shui eyes is just like mind blowing. Okay. But on the flip side, it's like, yeah, I do have my finding my foundations sturdy. I know who I am in my core. I know what my values are. Yes, I'm adding some accessories and getting pretty and, taking better care of myself, which the jewelry symbolizes. I also do wear my own jewelry. I make jewelry for myself. Not every piece. This one is not one of mine. And you don't belong there. And I don't know where your partner is. I am an organized person. I do love organization. So you'll see like where I'm going here. The earrings are together, right? They're clipped together. And this is a pair of earrings. This is another pair of earrings. So organization is big. This one's missing its pair because one of them like lost some beads and stuff like that. So you see how the earrings are all like they're pairs and they're together. And then the necklaces go over here. And then I've got like an earring cuff up here, right? That goes up here. And then I've got a ring in her chest right there. So there is method to the madness. Things are coming together, but she's got no clothes, which is so funny because in human design, I have gate 51, which is the gate of shock. And the story behind that is the little boy in the story of The Emperor's New Clothes, where he points out he's not wearing any clothes. Again, the universe has a fucking wicked sense of humor. Is very sarcastic. So it's like, do I want to put clothes on her? Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. But what would make this feel more opulent? What would make this reflect who I really am and my depth, right? So that's, maybe I decide that it is what it is. And when I set my intention and put it back up there, that's where I anchor in the intention, right? So you don't have to blow up your whole life. You don't have to go and buy 3 million things. None of the things that I showed you today are actual traditional feng shui placements. Okay? There's no feng shui coins. There's no red ribbons. There's no wind chimes. There's no crystals. There's none of that. You don't need to do that. And it doesn't mean that I don't have stuff. Here, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see. There is a feng shui crystal. Right there. That is those round faceted crystals. It's right there. And usually we put those in the center to create harmony in our health and well-being. So it doesn't mean that I don't have stuff, but it's not on a red ribbon, right? It's got Swarovski beads and they're rainbow. So there's rainbow, like those colored areas. They're the 7 chakras, right? And I do work with the 7 chakras if you've ever had a crystal chakra session. So that makes sense. This makes sense, right? Like my room makes sense. There isn't randomness here. There is intention in everything that I bring into the home. And it doesn't mean my home does not have clutter. My living room, my kitchen constantly have clutter because that's where my kids hang out. I've got my eBay items there. I'm trying to create some organization around that. I sew at the kitchen table. I have this griddle where we take it out, we use the griddle, and then it never gets put back in place. The Christmas tree is still up because it's been snowing here like New England does. And I didn't see a point in taking down the Christmas tree if I can't get to the shed and put it away. So maybe that's something I'll do this weekend and just get the Christmas tree off the kitchen table. It's just a 3-footer. It is so cute. It's a cypress tree and it's just like the cutest thing. So maybe that's something that I need to do. So even that is a reflection of like, sometimes there is method to my there's always method to my madness. And I feel like there's always method, and I don't want to use the word madness, right? Our genius, right? It's like there is a pattern there. There's a pattern around why your house is the way that it is. Your home is the way that it is. There's a pattern on why your life is the way that it is. There's a pattern around the kind of clothes you wear and the things that you do and the way that you say things. But is that pattern naturally you, authentically you, or is it something that you were told you should do? And I don't practice should anything. I will not tell you you should do this in your feng shui, in your human design, in your astrology, in your business, or in your life. I will say, this is the pattern that's being reflected here, and this is the reality it is creating. Is that what you want in your life? And if you say yes, awesome, let's do more of that. Or let's leave it alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Or if you're like, no, I don't like that. Like for me, I don't like the image that I'm getting from this puzzle that was in my identity area. Like, I don't want to be seen as this inspirational goddess that's unattainable and that people like kind of. I actually had a client that was just like, oh my god, you're an archangel and you're a guru, and I was like, I am so not those things. I am so far from those. Do I feel like I'm a powerful psychic and medium? Absolutely. My readings are super specific and super inspirational, and I love that characteristic of me, but that's not all I do. Okay? I don't want to just tell you what the potential is or tell you about the past and what's going on in your life. I want to help you create the life that you actually desire. Okay? And if there are areas of your life that are just not the way that you want them to, or you're not showing up as who you truly want to be, or are being seen the way that you want to be seen, those are things that I can definitely help you. One, identify what are the patterns. And usually they're a combination of beliefs, thoughts, your words, what you say about yourself. That's you're programming yourself. Every time you say that you're an idiot or you're stupid or you're not good at something, you're reinforcing that belief. Is that really what you want to do? Okay? And then of course I love Feng Shui. Feng Shui sometimes is like the easiest way to coach people because they'll move a chair before they'll talk about their past or their relationship or their family or their business or whatever. And sometimes that opens the door for a bigger conversation. And sometimes that's all they need is to move the fucking chair. Okay? It all depends. Okay? So, in closing, it's funny to say that. Don't throw up feng shui in your home. Okay? It doesn't make sense. Okay? Make minor changes. Look at what's already there. I would even say look at what's already there and what is the story that you're getting? What is that area telling you? Okay? And if you don't like it, before you start changing stuff, being like, okay, why do I not like it? And what is the story that I do want to say? Who do I think I am? Right? This is about your perception of yourself. Self is your perception of yourself. Fame and reputation is how the world sees you. But this is you. This is how you see yourself. So if you have an image like me where it's this docile, this like, I'm this shining light, but I'm not just the shining light. It's so funny because I just got this image of Harriet Tubman. So like she was this huge inspirational woman, right? But she actually fucking walked the Underground Railroad, right? She actually guided people. She actually put her own life through at risk. And I'm like, that's what I feel like I do in some ways. I go into those depths of your psyche and your patterns to help you uncover what's going on. And a lot of times I see things in there that, because a lot of times my clients are a reflection of me, that I don't like about myself. And then I do the work on myself. Right? So I'm in the trenches with you. Like, I'm not perfect. My life's not perfect. I don't know everything, but I've been through some things and I know how to guide other people through them as well. And then sometimes I see things like, I didn't even see that. Like, I knew I didn't like that image there. I love this puzzle, but I really didn't like it there. And now I know why. Because I looked at it and I was just like, what is that saying about myself? What am I saying to myself when I put an image like that? Right? It's this unattainable, this perfect goddess, and that's not who I am. That's not who I aspire to be. I am a person who's in the trenches with you. Okay. Yes, I want to inspire you. I want to hold the lantern up and guide you and be inspiring, but I also want to help you do the work. I want to help you create the strategy. I want to help you create those breakthroughs, right? So that's something that I am going to work on in my feng shui, in the way that I talk to myself, in the way that I see myself, because it's not just feng shui. When I work with clients, it's mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and environment. And feng shui obviously is the environment. So we do talk about self-talk. We do talk about how do you see yourself? How do you talk about yourself? The way that you dress, are you making yourself a priority? Like, one of the things that I discovered this week was that, like, because I felt like my parents were selfish because they always put their needs above my own, that if I put my needs in front above my kids, then I would be selfish. And not that my kids would think I was selfish. I would view myself as selfish. That's a self area. And I was just like, no, there are times that I need to take care of myself. Okay? That I do need to put myself first. And it does not mean that I'm selfish. It means that I'm putting my oxygen mask on. I'm going to take a shower because I need a shower. I'm going to eat because I need to eat. I'm going to take a sip of water because I'm thirsty. I'm also a role model in human design. And as a parent, I am a role model. So if I don't take care of myself, what am I teaching my children? I'm teaching them that, you know, we take care of others, but we don't take care of ourselves. Right? Or that women are caregivers and don't take care of themselves. There's so many ways that that can be spun, right? And if all of this is resonating with you, if you are a woman who feels like you're going through sort of this identity upgrade, especially with the astrology and all the stuff that's going on in the world, the fire horse and all these things, and you'd really like support in that, I invite you to check out in the comments. I dropped a little bit about the goddess code. So this is a 13-week journey where every week you will get prompts on ways to look at your human design and your astrology to see your original blueprint. Okay. And we start with house 12, which is the subconscious in astrology. And we look at what is going on in house 12. What are the signs? What is going on there? To give you a glimpse of what is going on in your subconscious. What are your natural patterns, right? And also looking at what is actually showing up in your life so that you can see the patterns. Like, this is who I was born to be, and this is what the world told me I should be. And there is a difference. There is a huge fucking difference. And how do I shift from what the world told me that I should be and that I'm good at and that I should do and women are and this, and that, to this is who I was born to be. And this is who I truly am at my core. Okay. So we start with house 12 in astrology, and then we go back to house 12 in week 13. And we notice our progress and see what more needs to be done, because it's not an endless journey, but you know. And so you'll get prompts to use with AI if you choose to use AI. If not, I will create your worksheet and the things that you need to look at for that week. There will be group coaching sessions every week where I will be, you know, people will go into the hot seat. What did you discover about yourself in this process? How does that marry with what you believe about yourself, right? And then I will guide you, okay? And we'll be doing a little bit of feng shui as well. That's a new addition to the program. So, and there's different levels of support. You can just take the program and get the prompts and the hot seat coaching every week. Not everybody will get a chance to go every week, but I will do my best. And sometimes we don't have anything to say or whatever. But if you have something that you need help with, absolutely raise your hand and you will get coached by me. The next level of support is adding 3 one-on-one sessions so that I can personally help you to see the patterns that you're not seeing and to create a strategy to really step into the person you are, the person that's emerging. And then the next level of support is obviously 13 sessions where I work with you one-on-one, and you don't even have to do the group coaching program if you don't want to, but you would still get those prompts every week based on your human design and astrology, and then we would work through them together, and I would give you individualized support. So if that interests you, DM me the word code and I will send you the details. We start April, whatever the first week of April is. I think April 1st is a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it is a Wednesday. But that would be our first session. So if that interests you and you'd like more details, let me know. If you'd like a Feng Shui consultation, DM me and we can have a conversation around that. And if you would like to take your Feng Shui placement, so anything that you place in your home is a reflection of you, whether you're conscious of it or not, whether you're doing it intentionally or not, it is a reflection of you, okay? And where it is and how you deal with it and all that stuff, including your trash can and all the stuff. So if you like a ritual, it's called the 3 Secret Reinforcements. It's how we align the mind, the heart, and the body. So when I go put this back up there in my career area, I'm going to do this 3 Secret Reinforcement ritual. Okay. So if I take it down and because I dusted it or whatever, which it actually does need dusting, the top of it needs dusting, then I'm going to do that 3 Secret Reinforcement ritual. If you'd like a copy of that, and it's a simple version of it, I don't go too much into the story of it. It's just laid out in steps. This is what you do. This is the mudra. This is the mantra. These are the things that you need to do. It's very simple. It takes like 2 minutes to do every time you do something. And that's even moving something. Like if you moved your bed because like you were stubbing your toe or whatever, you need to move your bed, you could do this ritual. You can also do this ritual, like I said, with like the scooping of the litter box. So I might do something like, I do this as a reflection of my intention that I am removing the crap that I believe about myself that is not true. So that's something that I could say, and then I would do the ritual. You can do it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do it for. And at the bottom of the PDF, the 3 Secret Reinforcements PDF, there is a link to a YouTube video, and you can go watch. It's, I think, about a 25-minute video, and it walks you through so you can actually see me doing the ritual. And it also gives you a ton of ideas and suggestions on ways to use this 3 Secret Reinforcement ritual in like the most like magical ways. I was gonna say weird ways, but like literally you could do it with your coffee. You could be like, I drink this coffee as a reflection of my intention to be focused and to be strong and to be whatever. It's an amazing ritual. So DM me. That is $9 today. That's what I normally sell it for. Normally, if you buy a cure or placement or do a Feng Shui consultation, you get it for free. But if you'd like to just have the ritual and then you can go and do whatever you want with your Feng Shui, then you can pick that up for $9 today. So you can just DM me and just say 3 secrets, and I will send you the link to purchase that. Okay? I hope this has been helpful for you. If something resonated with you, or there was something that you were like, oh my God, Alpita, I just love that story or that suggestion, I would really love to hear from you, like to see like what is hitting, what are some other things that you want to learn about. As I said, this is part of a 9-week series. So next week, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about, which area we're going to be talking about, but we are going to go through the entire 9 areas of the Feng Shui energy map, which is called the Bagua. And again, today we went through the self, which is our identity. It is who we think we are. Okay. And it is, to me, it's like one of the most powerful areas. Like I think that going forward, anytime I do anything with Feng Shui, that is the first area that I'm going to encounter, because our identity is the start of everything, right? It will affect our career. It will affect our health. Like if you feel like you can't put yourself first, how are you going to take care of your health and well-being? You're just going to be doing emergency procedures. You're just going to be like putting duct tape on the carotid if you can't put yourself first. So that is the area to start with. All right. But we are going to go through all the other 8 areas of the Bagua from this lens of wealth, and also just what do they mean and what can I do there in order to activate the magic that area has. Okay, so I'll be sharing a lot more tips and techniques with that. All right, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you next time. Take care. Bye.